Alrighty, old gatekeeper here. We got Mr. 321 Texas Bulldog. They're out there around the Texas, beautiful Bighorn, big state of Texas. And he wanted to take advantage of sending some used Toshibas in to trade for some brand new HGs. So congratulate you for doing that, bud. I hope you be able to have some fun with the brand new HGs you get there, and maybe build some big amps or repair some amps or whatever you're gonna do with them. So basically, what he's got sent in, he said he picked all these up from a swap meet. Let me see here. I ain't gonna show the paper. It's got his address on there, but he was only able to test them with a multimeter to make sure they're good. And yep, they were all good, brother. He picked them up at a swap meet. Yep. So that's cool, man. A lot of times at swap meets you won't find no used transistors like this, but every once in a while you will. Now the only bad news I got so far, brother, is this right here. Now when I seen the 2290, I did notice that the glue around it was black as soot. That just means that this device has gotten very, very, very hot. A lot of times that's due to it not being mounted properly, or maybe having some particulates up under the heat sink, and basically the heat is not coming off the heat sink like it's supposed to, the heat sink on the transistor itself. Let me see if I can get that a little bit more in the shot. Yeah, you can tell that is black. But anyway, one thing I like to do is I like to try to. A lot of times I ain't got enough time. I kind of shot myself in the foot the other day. See that? I lost two 2879 HGs, just flat out lost them. So I need to start cleaning these up before I make the videos. Because a lot of times I get so busy, got a lot of people sending in Toshibas. I'm shipping transistors. I'm working over here on the bench, doing repairs, I get so busy, I'll just get the Toshibas in a couple of days, and then I'll test them, and I'll put them to the side, and I bet I'll clean them later down the road and get them ready for sale. But the problem is I went to go clean I made a video, but I cleaned a good bit of them. And look, the top came off one of them. When that happens, that transistor's gone. There's nothing I can do. Even if I try to glue that on, the characteristics of the transistor changes a little bit. These tops are put on these transistors. I'm going to find some documentation to show you about this. But these tops put on these transistors in a different type of environment, and a sealed environment that isn't exactly the type of oxygen that we're breathing now. I think it's oxygen free, and it's like nitrogen. I don't know the specifics, but once that top comes off, everything's changed at that point. I've even in the past, many years ago, tried to glue tops back on, and they don't stay on. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some sort of glue you could get that would work, but once the tops came off, it's over with. It's trash. It's trash from that point. Throw them in the trash. So while I was cleaning these, and this is another reason, when I go to clean these and straighten out the leads, if there's a top that's going to pop off, that's when it's going to happen. Okay? Because I don't want to be shipping that thing out to somebody and selling it to them, and the top popping off when they straighten the leads out and install them in their amps and their amplifiers. You see what I'm saying? So if the lead's going to pop off, it's going to do it when I'm straightening leads out. Because if you just straighten the lead out and it pops off, oh, that transistor's done for anyway. Because I'm not sitting here bending the leads. I'm just taking a thing like this right here and just straightening them, just like that. After I get all the solder off the lead. So I do hate to say, buddy. Ooh wee! Now look at that. Look at that. Let me get something to point with. I didn't notice this a while ago. Now take a look at this. You notice how there's no solder right here, but there's solder right there. And if you look how it's darker there and darker here. What this indicates that on this side of the transistor, it could be for multiple reasons. There's really no way to tell 100%. but on this side of the transistor was not making good enough contact to the heat sink. So this side got hotter than this side. And if you look, the solder literally sucked up under the glue. And tinned this part of the emitter. This part right here. That is crazy. I think I'm going to make a short out of this to show you. This is why you always need to make sure that there's no particulates. When you're doing a repair and you pull a transistor out, get down in there and clean all of the heatsink compound out. Don't just remove a transistor and take it out and put another transistor in. Of course, it's different if it's something you just did, your own personal, and there's no particulates under there. But if it's a repair you're working on, remove that transistor, remove all the particulates. It could be an old box anyway, and that heatsink compound needs to be changed out every so often anyway. And also make sure there's no burrs around the screw holes. You can actually get some of these transistors sometimes and tell around the holes, not these, but you can tell sometimes where somebody drilled holes and they didn't get to all the burrs around the holes. So take this as a demonstration of what can happen if this heatsink isn't flat against the heatsink, so that all the heat can be transferred off the heatsink into the heatsink. It's an ongoing process while the transistor is being used. And if all the heat isn't equally, so that's why we use the heatsink compound to fill up all them micro spaces. So there you go. That's why we use it, to help the heat to disperse equally through the heatsink. So I apologize about this, brother. So we'll put that to be put in the trash, or my little bag of transistors. I like to keep transistors regardless, because I'm like, one day I may be able to learn that I can pull the heat sinks off of them, or I don't know, extract gold out of. I'm a hoarder anyway. All right. We're looking for a 16 HFE and higher to trade it for two HG2879s. 16 and higher, okay? Sometimes if it falls on a 15, I'll let it slide through. 16 and lower, we're trading 1 for 1. All right, 1 for 1. So if it's a 15 lower, that will trade for a single HG2879. If it's that or higher, there you go. Because the low ones, I can't resell them. I don't feel good reselling them. I kind of keep them for myself. If I could use it as a driver, something like that, or something personal. Maybe a repair, if there's another repair that's got low ones. Or if I could sell it, I'd probably sell it for a cheaper price to somebody or something like that. Most of the ones that come in here are pretty good. Ooh, that's a 5. That's low. All right, man. Let's make sure there's no leakage. Ooh, we got leakage. I tell you what, man. Ever since I've started doing this, we're going to test again. Ever since I've started doing this, trading HGs, I haven't found any transistors with leakage. But here we go. I hope you didn't pay a lot for this, my friend. This transistor has leakage, so it is no good. It is no good. I hate that. I really do hate that. That's the first transistor out of all the many I've traded for since I've been doing this trading little type form of business that I'm in. That is the first one. I really hate that for you, brother. All right, we got a 9. Here's another low one. No leakage. So at least that's going to be good for one HG. So we're going to put the low ones over here to the left, high ones to the right. Hopefully every single one of these will be higher HFE. That's what we're hoping. Uh-oh. Let me hold it down a little harder. Oh no, that ain't good. Looks like we got one here reading to be blown. Alright, this isn't something I've done. Let me put the phone down for a second and get my multimeter. This isn't something that I've done yet during one of these videos, which this could be pretty informational to some of y'all. If you don't have an HFE, I need to get me some red alligator clips just to make it easy for y'all. Now, what I like to do sometimes, just to be 100% sure, because there could be a possibility the HFE has dropped so low on this thing that it's still technically good, but too low to even measure. But just for the heck of it, sometimes I'll find these weird transistors that show like they're bad, but they're still reading as diodes both directions. That's what we're about to check now. And I'll put them in a bag later to check them with a one pill checker. And if they do check good, I'll say, okay, I could use this for something. If I ever want to build me a personal one pill, I could use it. And if it works, I could use it till it blows. But definitely nothing to use in people stuff. So let's say you don't have one of these handy peak atlases, okay? And you want to at least check the transistor to see if it's good. See, he said that he did check these with a multimeter. That's exactly why I'm really doing this right now. In other words, I'll just put that to the side. How do you check a transistor to see if it's good? Okay, the transistor has internal diode. We're going to just keep this simple. It has internal diodes, and what we want to do is check it in two different directions. From the base to emitter junction, okay, which is the bottom to the top, and we want to check the base to emitter and the base to the collector. All right, they both need to be good. They both need to read as a diode, and it needs to be reading as a proper diode of like 0.04, 0.05 volts. So here's how you would do it. Now to make this ease, since we're on a camera here, and I only got one hand, I'm going to put these alligator like this. So the green is red, is the red, because you got to do this oriented right, or it won't be proper. All right, we're going to turn on my trusty Fluke. God, I love Fluke multimeters, man. I will never use another multimeter in my life but a Fluke. All right, so here's what we're going to do is take your red and connect it to your base. Okay. Take your black and connect it to your collector, because this is the direction of the diode internally. Okay, so this would be the anode, the top would be the cathode. And as you see, we show absolutely nothing. So that shows us right there that this is 100% a blown transistor. But just for the fun of it, we will then keep, sorry, I done cut myself twice this week. Keep your red on your base, okay? At this time, just move your black over to your emitter. Like that. And we still do not have a reading. So this is a flat out blown transistor. So I wasted time cleaning that up. Hey, you did too, Bulldog. I see you did clean these up before you sent them to me. I appreciate you, but I just went through and just did some fine cleaning. I didn't hardly have to do nothing. So this right here is a blown transistor. So what we'll do is basically just write an X on this. I do this on all of my blown transistors. So whenever I see them and pick them up, I know they are blown. All right. Now, just for the fun of it, let's take a good transistor that we know is good and do the same thing to show y'all. This is how you check if all you have is a multimeter. And keep in mind, y'all, this is the only way we had to check before these came out. This is the only way. And what you would do is you would match these by the diode. And I'm telling you, it actually is a good way to match these transistors. You can actually match these by the diode reading, the voltage reading that it gives you. I have tested this. I have sit here and matched 4 transistors at exact HFE and then looked at the diode, and they are almost right there, identically the same. It really does. So back when we were matching them that way using the diode, this method, it worked. It was a good way of doing it. The turn-on voltage goes along with what the HFE is, believe it or not. All right, so here we go. Y'all heard it beep, didn't you? That's what I like about Atlases. Look, I'm going to remove it. We're going to put the lead back on and listen to it beep. That's what I like about Atlases. .553. See, that's what you're looking for. And we're going to move it down to the emitter. It may not be identical, but it's going, as long as it's very close, you're good to go. .553. Now we're going to move this down to the emitter. And you heard it beep again. .552. This is a good transistor, and that is how you check a transistor if you only have a multimeter. I may actually just cut this little piece off of this video and put that in there. And of course, there are other checks you can do. You can take this further. So I may just say this right here is the simplex, the most simple way to check. And this is all we use. This is all we used to use, okay? You can go a lot further to check other things with the multimeter, with the ohm reading. But this is what counts to let you know that the transistors, diodes are working. If they're working, the transistor is probably 95+%, mean it's good to go. All right, so let's go on to the next one. That gave me an opportunity to do that, because I think that's the first blown transistor that I've had sent to me. So this is the first in a couple of ways. First leaking and first blown, which is perfectly fine. You don't have to check these when you send them to me. You don't have to, it's no, I'll do all the checking for y'all. You don't have to worry about checking these and go to the trouble of checking them. This is why I'm recording a video, for transparency, so that you see what I'm seeing at the same time. So we got an 8 right here, 0 leakage. So you got you another HG2879. I'm hoping you at least got one high HFE in here, buddy. I'm hoping so. For you and me. Hey, it helps both of us out. 17. Sweet. So you just got yourself 2 HG2879s, brother. No leakage. No leakage. So we're putting that over there. You just got 2 HG2879s for that one. All right, this is the last one. I'm sorry that 2 of them is untradeable. Be higher than 16, baby. Be higher. Ah! A 4? Dang, that's low. Don't worry. Oh, we got leakage. You know, it looks like this one. Let me see if these have got the same lot number. No, they don't. Now, whenever I see leakage like that, I'll go ahead and check again one more time. And I'm going to ask you, too, if you want me to send these leakage ones back to you. See, it's dropped to a 3. But these, you don't want to use transistors that are leaking like that. No. I'm sorry, brother. I really hate that for you. You got 4 transistors out of the 7 that can't be traded. I really am sorry about that, buddy. But you did gain you something at least. I just hope you didn't pay a lot of money for them, bro. Whew. If you ever go to a place like that, at least carry a little Atlas with you to buy used transistors or a multimeter, you know, at least. But you at least got yourself 4 HG2879. So you got you enough to do you a 4-pill or something like that, or two 2-pills or something like that. So anyway, so I appreciate you for sending these in, Mr. Texas Bulldog. And I'll hit you up, see if you want me to send these leaking ones back to you. If not, I'll throw them in my leakage bag over there. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. One of these days, I'm going to do some tests with leaking transistors on video. And I've got a little test procedure set out to just show how leaking transistors work in circuit, how you can tell you got leaking transistors and all that kind of stuff. One of these days when I get enough time. All right, this is Gatekeeper, y'all. I'm going. I got to go get over here and get on this. Ugh. Sometimes the smaller amps are the worst, y'all. Old Gatekeeper, Georgia, 73, y'all. Bye-bye.